Hello and welcome to my Flosstube number 32. I have quite a lot of things to show you today, so we better get started. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Esther and I'm the Danish Stitcher. Not so long ago I discovered a new designer. Well, she's not new, but she was new to me. I'm talking about I'm talking about MamaWitchCrossStitch or MamaWitchXStitch. It all started because I saw this cute cat ghost pattern on someone's Instagram. And I looked at it and thought, oh, that's cute. I want to stitch that one. But no, Esther, you have way too many patterns already, so do not purchase any more patterns. I went to her Etsy shop, of course, and noticed there were a lot of patterns that I liked, but I actually managed not to buy anything. Well, at least the first 6 times I went to her shop. On the 7th time, the cat ghost, as well as Sweet Christmas, the Sweet Christmas pattern, got into my basket, and I paid for it. So, well, as if that wasn't enough, I also decided to join her Patreon, which now means that I have quite a lot of her patterns, so I really don't need to buy any more patterns for the next couple of months, but I'm not sure that's possible. Only time can tell, yeah. Talking about designers, I think most of you now know that the Witchy Stitcher has been diagnosed with cancer and is undergoing treatment, and that October 1st has been announced as the Witchy Stitcher Day, which means that we hope that the stitching community will support her, either by buying her digital patterns or her merchandise, and or promote her on her web shop on social media. If you follow me on Instagram, you have probably noticed that I am doing a challenge, a fall finish challenge 2023. That means that from September 1st through till the 30th of November, I will try to finish as many of my projects as possible, including new starts, because I have quite a lot of those. I hope you would like to join me and use my tag if you finish a project and show it on Instagram. I would be very happy if you would use my tag. Yeah, that's it. Before I will show you all the projects I've been working on, I would like to show you a bit statistics first. So my last Flosstube was on August the 19th. And since then I had 9 new starts. I've been working on 12 whips. I had 8 finishes and 8 fully finishes. Altogether, I stitched 19,990 stitches. And in this year, 2023, I have now stitched 106,691 stitches, which means I have accomplished my 100,000 stitches a year challenge. I'm not going for the 200,000 stitches because I don't think that's possible, but I might aim for the 150,000 stitches. That should be doable, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's move on to my projects. The first project I'm going to show you is actually two, because I'm going to show you my only FO, my only finished project, as well as one of my whips, because they are on the same fabric. So I finished here the haunted house, and I think it's quite cute. And this is my whip, that's spooky house. I still have some work to do there, but I still hope that I will manage to finish this before my challenge is over. That means before November the 30th. Let's see if I succeed. And now it's time for my FFOs, that means my fully finished objects. The first one is Queen of Quite a Lot. I worked on that for one day and did 224 stitches, and then it was done. I should have made a little crown here, but that was 1/1, and no, I decided I would put in my initials here instead. I'm very pleased with the way the floss looks. It's silks that I dyed myself, and yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I forgot to say that the haunted house I worked on for 4 days and stitched 1,154 stitches. And the spooky house I worked on for 2 days and stitched 757 stitches. Okay, so this was Queen of Quite a Lot. The next one is a mini, a tiny one. It's just a pattern I made very fast because I felt like stitching something very easy. I call it plus signs, and I stitched on it for 1 day. That was a new start, and as you can see, it's a SAF, start and finish, and it has 303 stitches. And then I put it, looks better like this. And then I put it in a little frame. Yeah. The next one I stitched on for 2 years. It's the Halloween hoot owl. And it's so cute, but has a lot of back stitching. But the back stitching is really necessary on this one, and I love it. I think it's so cute, and I'm so happy and pleased that it's done, because I hate when I work on smaller projects like this. I really don't like to work on them for several years. It's something else with hates or bigger projects, but projects like this size, no, it shouldn't take more than a year. But anyway, I worked on it for 2 days with, let me see, 323 stitches and back stitching. I did all the back stitching down here. I just thought I missed the back stitching here, but there's back stitching. If I had, it would be too late to do anything about it. As you can see, I'm trying to do flat fold finishes. I'm not completely satisfied with the results yet, but since it's not presents but just for me, it's okay. Then I have another new start and a finish. It's called Making Christmas Bright. It was, yeah, I stitched on it for 3 days and did 856 stitches as well as beading. So as you can see, all the red dots here are beads, and I think it's very cute. Yeah. The next 2 ones I will show photos because they have been framed, and I'm not using museum glass, which means that there's a lot of glare and reflection. So the first one is the before mentioned cat ghost by Mama MamaWitchCrossStitch. And it's so cute. I love it. And yeah, it's hanging on my wall in here, in my craft room. The next one is That's No Moon, a Star Wars reference by the Witchy Stitcher. I also finished, and I worked on that one for 4 days and did 1,640 stitches. Yeah, and that's hanging in here on the wall as well. Okay, the next one I haven't stitched on because I showed it finished the last Flosstube, but I have now fully finished it. This is the Spider-Man for the neighbor's son, who turns 5, I think, in middle of December. And I love the way this fabric, it just matches it perfectly. So it looks like this on the back side. And as you can see, I still need to put something here, and I think I'm going to put something with his name on. But for now, it's fully finished, and eventually before his birthday, it will be fully finished. But I just wanted to show it now, so I don't forget to show it to you. Okay, and the last FFO, I think I've been working on it for 2.5 years or so. It's a Shannon Christine design. I worked on it for 5 days, and I stitched 2,563 stitches, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and I love it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I like the way she managed to make all this shadows and stuff like that. The way she works with her colors, it's amazing. I really love this pattern. But I'm not sure I'm going to stitch it again because it took me 2.5 years. But anyway, I'm really pleased with the result. I'm so happy that it's done. So that were my fully finished objects. Now we are moving on to the whips. My first one is a tiny one. It's Sydney, the Opera House in Sydney. I only stitched on it for 1 day and did 184 stitches. I think altogether it has about 1,000 stitches. Yeah. And of course I'm going to frame it when it's done. The next one is Halloween Owls from Madame Chantilly. And as I said in my last Flosstube, I should have picked a darker fabric for this, but I'm not going to restitch it. So I'm just finishing. I'm going to finish it on this fabric, and then I'll have to do some backstitching where it's necessary, like around this ghost, for example. I worked on it for 1 day, and I stitched 185 stitches on it. Yeah. The next one is also a new start. It's called Christmas Chaos. I worked on it for 2 days, and I did 294 stitches on it. I'm not using the call for colors. Oops. I'm not using that. I'm not using the call for colors. I'm using mostly silks from Stash. And as you can see in the pattern, the cats should be black, which I think it's not so good on such a dark fabric. So I have decided that I'm going to stitch everything but the cats. And then in the end, when I've stitched everything else, I'm going to do some floss toss and find out which color will be best for the cats. They could be white, for example, or gray, or yeah, variegated floss. I haven't decided yet. Yeah. The next one is called Merry Fright Night. I worked on it for 1 day and did 333 stitches. But I'm not sure I'm going to continue stitching on this one. I'm not that happy with the pattern, and I think that my last 2 whip parades I actually thought about UFOing this one. I might still do that, even though I just did 300 stitches on it, but I'm not happy with it. It has a lot of fractionals. Some people will probably say that's not a lot of fractional stitches, but when you stitch an Ada, just 1 fractional stitch is 1 fractional stitch too much. I really don't like fractional stitches. So I'm not sure I'm going to pull this out for a very long time. So let's see if I decide to UFO it. I kind of feel that I will. The next project is also a Witchy Stitcher pattern. It's the Stephen King house. I haven't worked much on it. I only worked on it yesterday, and I did these stitches here. I stitched 339 stitches. Actually, I would prefer to stitch on projects that I have a chance to finish before the end of November, but yesterday I just felt like stitching on this project. So I decided to pull it out and stitch on it. I love it. I think I soon have to start the back stitching because there's a lot of back stitching on it. The next one is also a new start, and it's my own design. I call it Autumn Puzzle. It's also a tiny one. That means it's a bit bigger than the other ones, because as you can see, there are actually 3 rooms I have to fill out with these little pluses. I have a frame with 3 frames in it. And yeah, I use mostly autumn colors, fall colors. I don't know when it's going to be finished, but I'm in no hurry. The next one is also a new start. It's from Lola Crow Design, and it's Happy Haunting. And I worked on it for 2 days and did 569 stitches, so I'm not that far yet. But eventually I will get there. So as you can see, I don't just stitch on stuff that I know I can finish before the end of November. But that's because I stitch what I want to. And yet another new start. This one is, I think it's one of the Patreon patterns from MamaWitchCrossStitch. It's called Robin the Mailman, Mr. Robin the Mailman. And I worked on it for 2 days and I did 893 stitches on it. And I think it's very cute. And now one of my favorite projects, it's also by the Witchy Stitcher, is Froze the Pumpkin. As you can see, I'm getting closer to a finish, but I haven't stitched on it for quite some time now. I think 2 weeks or so. But I still got some time before it's the end of November, so I might be able to. I'm not sure it's going to be done before Halloween this year, and that's okay. I've been working on it for 4 days and I did 1,941 stitches on it. And I love it. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I love the colors. It's so beautiful. I still got 2 projects to show you. Both of them are new starts. The first one, there's a bit of a story to that. First, I heard Julie mentioned this book, and I actually bought it and downloaded it from Audible just after I heard her talk about it, because I thought, that sounds interesting. And then nothing else happened, and I just couldn't pull myself together to start listening to it, although I actually listen quite often to audiobooks while I'm stitching. And then in this Stitchy Chat group where I am, they were also talking about this book, especially Matt Morty and Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And I thought, oh well, maybe I should try. And oh boy, is that book good. It's amazing. So if you're into fantasy, dragons, a hot steaming romance, then you should definitely listen to it or read the book. And the next book I think it's going to be a trilogy. The next book will arrive around November, I think. But I just had to make a pattern. And so I did. And I worked on it for 3 days, and I did 2,550 stitches. And actually I thought that the brown colors would stand more out. I did a floss choice before I started stitching. I decided on the yellow fabric because the book is kind of yellowish on the cover. I'm not going to unpick this. I'm not going to restitch it. I will just finish this one, and if I think it needs some backstitching, I will give it some backstitching. Yeah. So 4th wing. Now we are at my last whip. This is from X-Stitch magazine. It's Buffy. In the beginning, I did not like the colors, and I thought about doing a conversion, but I just didn't get to do it. I just didn't come around. I didn't come around to do it, and then I decided to just go for the call for colors, and I must say I love it now. It's not colors that I would have picked, but I like them. So, and the fun thing was that while I was stitching this, I got 2 or 3 days ago, I got the news that there was going to come out a new audiobook or podcast or kind of a radio play or whatever. I forgot what they called it, on Audible on October the 12th with the original cast from the Buffyverse. Not all of them. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar and David, who played Angel, are not participating, but Cordelia is there, Anya is there, Tara, Jonathan, a new Slayer from a parallel universe, and the story is and as well to Drusilla, and the story is centered about my favorite Buffyverse character, namely Spike. So of course I have already pre-ordered it, and I'm looking so much forward to listening to it. I have no idea if it has one episode or several, but I'm just looking forward to hearing it. So yeah, this is Buffy. That were my whips and all my projects, and now plans. I only have one plan, if you can call it a plan. I want to see if I can finish as many projects as possible for my fall challenge. And then I have started thinking about maybe I would like to do something special for the Advent Sundays. But I'm still considering the options, and it's not sure that I'm going to make anything. Maybe it would be a challenge, or maybe just that I have to stitch on something special on each Advent Sunday. I have no idea yet, but time will tell. So this was all my stitching for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to show something. I mean, Knitter's Corner is coming up, and if you're not into knitting, I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. And for those of you who are into knitting, here we go. It has been a while since I showed you my knitting. I think 2 or 3 videos. I haven't had that much time. I did have the time, but I prefer to stitch But last week I was at a handball tournament with my class. That means I had quite a lot of hours to spend there, and I should just sit and watch them play handball. I had a colleague there as well who was their trainer, so I should just be there. That means I could actually stitch from around 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. So that was quite a lot of hours. So I stitched on 2 projects. This one, and since it has mohair in it, it's very soft. And you can see the infos you can see the infos about the yarn. Yeah, you can see the info about the yarn on the screen. And when it's done, I'm going to sew it together here, so it will be double. That means it will be very thick, but also very warm and nice to wear. Yeah. The last project, the second and the last project I knitted on is another scarf, because that's the only thing I know how to knit. And I have stitched quite a lot. I have knit quite a lot on it. As you can see, it's pretty long now, and it's almost done with the first skein. I have one more skein, and I'm going to use both skeins for this scarf, and then it will be done. Yeah, I love the colors. I think they are absolutely wonderful. It's a hand-dyed fabric from England, from when I could still buy in England without having to pay an extra fee for buying in England. So before Brexit. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been knitting for some days now, so I don't know when I'm going to knit again. Time will tell. Well, that was all for this time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, take care. Bye.